What's up, YouTube fam? How you guys doing today? Oh, I can't believe this. We're gonna go get our donor bike already. It's like literally been 4 days, 5 days, something like that since that final video was shot on the worst bike on Craigslist. But let me tell you something. The London X YouTube channel and the YouTube fam, it's insane, guys. So I would say within 24 hours of the final ride video on the worst bike on Craigslist, I had, I don't know, conservatively probably about like 70 to 80 different guys hit me up, offering suggestions, sending me links to bikes for sale, sending me numbers of their buddy who has bikes for sale. And guys, it's like, that was a lot, but it doesn't matter because we found one. I'll put up a picture on the screen. Guys, it's exactly what I was talking about. I said right before 2010, they had a really, really good handling model, and the power was great too. That is why we are driving down to Santa Clarita today to go meet a gentleman that has a 2009 YZ450F. So I figured this. If this doesn't work out, like if I start to put in the motor, right, and things aren't lining up, the geometry's off or something like that, what I figure is at least I got the suspension, right? Because this, I'm buying it as a rolling chassis, guys, and I'm buying it for $600 American. Guys, 600 bucks for an 09 rolling chassis. It has Yamaha Triple S suspension or KYB Triple S suspension. It's already got wheels, like everything that I would need for a typical swap. So this, even if I decide not to use this, because I actually had an overwhelming amount of people, giving suggestions for an engine swap type bike to keep it different, like go KTM, go Husqvarna, like a newer Husqvarna, and also to go, a lot of guys want to keep it purist. They want to see Kawasaki. So I'm gonna stop the small talk. I'm gonna stop the blah blah, and we're gonna head down to Santa Clarita today. We're gonna go pick up this bike. Then we'll put it up on the Instagrams and decide if this is what we want to do. So guys, Santa Clarita, it means like freaking far away in Spanish. Let's go! Santa Clarita, home of the lovely, lovely Magic Mountain. Yeah, Valencia, California. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've done it again. Not only have I succeeded in finding a possible donor bike for our Kx500 swap, but I managed to find it at an affordable price, $1,000. The newest I could possibly find, 2009. So, but having said that, guys, I want to reiterate, these are, I think if Yamaha released these today, as far as the chassis and suspension goes, the thing turns on a dime. I don't know, I keep counting on one finger. It turns on a dime. It has Triple S suspension, 48mm Kayaba, and it's got 18mm shaft, Triple S rear shock. It is essentially just a step under A kit from stock. Guys, it's a worthy donor. We picked one up for $1,000. Let me show you this bike. There you go. That is our potential I'm not married to it yet, guys, but this is potentially our donor bike. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that just tickle your eyeballs, guys? Doesn't that just tickle a little bit? So, we already got a tusk impact in the rear with a billet hub. Cool. Like I said, we got the Triple S suspension. It's been touched by someone else before. It's fine. So the motor dropped a valve, just like I was talking about. But credit is where credit's due. Credit is where credit's due, guys. Can you see that? Can you freaking see that? 226 hours. And we don't know if that hour meter was put on when it was brand new. We don't know if it was put on after a rebuild, but either way, 226 hours on this engine, known for sure. So for an engine to go 226 hours and then drop a valve, I commend it. I think that's great. I have everything for the bike. I have the head pipe, I have the upper engine mounts, I have everything. Which is interesting because when I get it home, I have like 3 other cylinder heads. So if this one's damaged, I have another one I can put in it. We might be able to get this thing started, and we might even be able to ride it too. Wouldn't that be a kicker? Pick up a bike for $1,000, swap out the head and get it running. That is dependent though, if that piston isn't too damaged, which when they drop a valve, let's be honest, it's never a pretty story. So anyways, guys, here is our potential donor for the Kx500. Knowing that these things have a very large engine bay, which is one of the things I was considering. Another thing I was considering, you could see this engine mount up here. That engine mount is already triangulated on the frame. I can't show you right now. It's already triangulated. But the benefit is I can easily make a mount to come down to the rearward mount of the Kx500 cylinder, and then all I have to do is fabricate something up here where it allows us to have our exhaust, you know, that leaves the cylinder of a 2-stroke through here, you know. And I think that design, I just have to raise that up. I think this would be a really easy conversion, and it'd be very strong. And then I'll get the frame re-annealed after you know, we get all the welding and fabrication done. But guys, I think this is a worthy candidate. And of course, your boy never, ever picks up anything in brand new condition. A lot of guys are hitting me up, hey, let's do a Husqvarna. Let's do a KTM. You know, you want to do something different, do, you know, an Alta. I even had a dude hit me up for an Alta, and I know he's watching right now and probably laughing, but if I got an Alta, let's be honest, guys, if I got a freaking Alta, I probably would not put a CR500 in it or a KX500 in it. I would probably ride out the Alta until it wouldn't hold a charge anymore, until it died. Then we would talk about doing that. But the fact that Alta doesn't have radiator mounts or any sort of carburetor induction area, that makes it kind of, probably not gonna do an Alta conversion swap, but that would be something, huh? So anyways, guys, this is our potential candidate. Picked it up for $1,000, broken valves. Let's get it back to the shop garage, whatever. Let's break into it, see exactly how bad the damage is, and see if we can fix it. If we can't fix it, fine, the motor's coming out anyway. We could either put in the Kx500, or we might even have a YZ250 engine to put in here. Not out of the worst bike on Craigslist, obviously, but out of a different YZ250. So we could do a YZ250 into an aluminum frame. By the way, a lot of you guys didn't know what AF standard for in the last video. I kept saying Yamaha or YZ450AF or RMZ 450AF. A lot of you guys are saying, what does AF mean? Does it mean as frig? I'm like, no. It means aluminum frame. So, I'll go over this bike when we get home. I got a 2-hour drive home. Been on the road, long time. But I need to go to the bathroom bad, so I'm gonna go to the gas station. But I wanted to pull over and show you this because I'm pretty pumped. Probably not a good omen that the number on this thing is 911. So, yeah, let's get back on the road, guys. Oh, and by the way, you guys can't tell, but I'm at the famous Piru MX126 motocross track, it was called Piru, it was called Lemon Grove, it was called MX126. It had a few names, but now it's been retired. They're actually growing the cannabinoid varieties up there. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it smells wonderful from where I'm at. But yeah, they're they're growing cannabis now, and this whole place is called Lemon Grove because like literally it's an entire lemon field grove forever. But yeah, this was a really cool motocross track for a long time. They actually shot the movie, or pieces of the movie, Supercross the movie, where Chip Carlisle, the Carlisle brothers, they were doing some practice with Team Nami out here. And gosh guys, what if we built a Team Nami? A Team Nami Kx500. Oh, that would be something. Junk. Alright, fam. I say we get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Find out what the extent of the damage is. I already know it's a valve, but let's find out the state of her. See if it's beyond repair or quick fix. Even though a quick fix is still going to need valves. Oh my dear Lord, Jesus. How are you doing? Guys, clean your air filters.
And it snaps tight.
Clean your air filters. I don't know if any of you guys actually have this bike or have worked on this bike before, but something's got to be said about these valve covers and how Yamaha poorly designed this valve cover to come off. It's ridiculous. It is such a fight to get off this valve cover. I can't imagine for the mechanics back in 06 or 09 that, you know, they're racing outdoors on these things or Supercross or whatever, and like they had to do valve adjustments quickly or something like that, because they had to have had special made valve covers. Obviously that comes off easy for me because I've done this like 100 plus times, but it's not always that easy. So anyways, we're gonna get this timing chain off. I could see, I couldn't see that before. Check this out. Look at that. You can see the valve bucket right there. He fully ejected an exhaust valve. Oops, sorry. Get you guys lined back up here. That is custom. Like that's, I don't think I've seen that before. That's pretty rad. So that valve, the exhaust valve, came apart in there. Something ferocious. Wow. Alright. Such limited room for activities. Ooh, that thing just eject itself. That's awesome. Oh. Full bucket ejection. Alright, with all the strength of the Husky tool I have in my hand, let's get these head bolts out. Love when that happens. Who torqued these? Andre the Giant? Jeez. No go. Something else I just noticed. Yes, sorry, I'm just gonna throw the camera everywhere. You guys notice how this middle spring bucket is poking up? Well, that means that valve dropped too. So we got 2 drop valves at least. So that one's broken, that one's broken. So I can tell you right now, this head is going to be really bad when we pull it off. It's going to be really, really bad. You know, another totally awesome design flaw of Yamaha on this behalf is the fact that they made it so you cannot take this head stud out without it hitting the frame. So you have to You have to get this one out last, of course. That thing is boogered or something. So you gotta get this one out last because you have to lift the head, bend it to the side, and take out the head bolt, and then you can lift the head up. Mind you, this is the same method for putting it back on. So bring it up, break the seal. You definitely want to make sure and open up your skin as much as you can too. I mean, just on every sharp edge, find it, because that blood is great to help with disassembly. Just helps parts slide so much better. There, that's what I have to do to get that head bolt out. Amazing. All right, reveal the carnage. Let's see it. Oh yeah, she's mint, boys. She is mint. Let's just hook this right back up and keep riding. Oh, there you go. There's your problem in a nutshell. That's what happens when you don't clean your air filter. Okay, that's not completely true, but this is a lot of sand in here. That has no doubt traveled through. Wow. This looks great. I'm gonna have to vacuum that out. Well, at least the piston's still good. So, reiterating the decision to make this a donor bike is confirmed because I thought I could at least get the piston down if I held the timing chain. She's still good and stuck. So, means the piston's fractured inside the cylinder and the cylinder's probably gouged, and who knows, with 200 and something hours on it, its engine's probably not very good anymore. Good for parts, I'm sure. Cases are fine, but this is no good. No bueno. Candidate! Well, after 4 pounds of persuading, thanks to our guys at Estwig, whatever, we were able to move that piston against its will. I get the cylinder off, maybe. Might need more persuading. And after even more off-camera persuading, she's removed. Well, the cylinder is anyway. Now sure, what's very probable, I could get a new cylinder for this, and get a new piston for it, replace the valves, be in it about $1,000, and she'll be running again. Running good too, after I'm sure good carburetor cleaning, rejetting. Then we got to start thinking about the other things this thing would need, like how that muffler was just wired on with baling wire, and then any other thing I haven't, mentioned or seen yet, like the chain guard that has a missing bottom to it. I'm sure the more I look on this, the more they'll keep coming at me. I just got to keep telling myself that the suspension alone was worth the $1,000. Alright, so I have the carnage here, and I kind of want to do a little chicken and egg, what came first type of deal for you guys, so you could see the path of destruction and what caused what. So there's 2 scenarios here that are possible. Inside the cylinder, I sprayed it out, and there's a crack right in this water jacket. I don't know how well you guys can see because there's shadows. Let me turn it like this. But right here you can see there's a crack, and it's in the water jacket. So scenario 1 is this thing popped the water jacket and it started sucking in water. And what the water did, because all the valves are pretty damaged, and also to mention, there's heavy crystallization of water and coolant. I'm picking out little bits here. And all of, all this like green chunks right here, this is, calcified water and coolant. And so scenario one for me is it broke a water jacket, it got way too freaking hot, and then it hydro-locked the valves. It probably broke off one to start, and then after it created a new pathway to start pumping, start pumping water through, whether it was exhaust or intake, start pumping water through. And this obviously had been at a really high rev. This wasn't like a very low rev or an idle situation. So after it found a path for the coolant to come out, then this valve is going to be an intake valve. This is most typically the one that breaks on these too. So this valve came out, and just because I could tell both exhaust valves is probably on an exhaust stroke, this thing tucked under here, and then the whole thing just went gnarly real quick. So that's scenario one. Scenario two is that because I am seeing a lot of black carbon inside this intake valve here, it is quite possible that this intake valve was leaking for some time. This valve stretched out, the cam was basically holding this valve open, and it probably ran horribly, and then until it couldn't take it anymore and the intake valve snapped off, it maybe even floated into the piston, and then the piston broke it, and then it was just a path of destruction. This valve got chewed up in here thousands of times, and literally, and that happens in like 20 seconds. It happens quick, especially, or 10 seconds when you're hauling butt and this thing's at a high rev. And especially because like we have, dimples all over this thing of where that intake valve was upside down, and it's rattled in here. Like you can see flat marks where it was like a blade, and then when it was upside down, so that thing got chewed up in here many times before this bike seized up, locked up, came to rest. And I'm sure it was a horrible push back to the truck. So guys, when I say that this 5-valve titanium, I'll say even from its inception, in the early 400s and 426s, those were almost over manufactured. They did something right in those years, because the 400s and 426s in the early 450s, they didn't have these kind of problems. Something changed in 2006 to 2009. I'm not really sure what that is. It could be the oiling system. I know that they changed that. Combustion design, things of that sort did change. They took away the manual decompression. They put on auto decompress. I don't think that has anything to do with it. It could just be into design. But I don't want to scare you away from 0609s. There is things you can do to make this not happen ever again. And largely, it's getting it down to someone that knows these heads. And the biggest thing is to machine oil ports down to these buckets, for one, because these buckets stick and then they explode like this one did. And then the other thing is, check your valves. I don't care if it's a Yamaha, Kawasaki, KTM, I don't care what brand. Okay, this happens to all bikes. This isn't a Yamaha thing. This happens to all bikes. Check your valves, make sure that they don't get too tight in your clearance, and then things like this won't happen to you where you got a valve snapping off. And now to the average consumer, this easily is, I don't know, $2,000, $2,500 job, and that's even assuming that our crankshaft is good. If this thing hydro-locked at a high rev, even by looking at the crank and seeing that straight, does not mean that that crank is not bent in some way. Whereas if you threw a new cylinder on this thing, new head on this thing, it might just be gone in 60 seconds anyway, because if that crank's bent at all, it's just going to ruin all those brand new parts all over again. So that's my little spiel. Let's get this engine out. Since I am definitely not going to spend my time and energy rebuilding it. Look at the rust onto it, boys. I'm happy it's coming out though. A lot of these get stuck for forever. I just want to take it to I just want to take it to the edge so it's still through the swing arm but not through the case anymore. You wait your turn. The bottom end spins nicely on this thing. Top end, not so much. You know what you guys need? You need the vision. I'll help you. Catch the vision, my friends. Catch the vision. Plenty of room for activities in there. Obviously, I could do even a top end change with the bottom end in it, which is a big deal, and that's why a lot of guys go with the perimeter frame style conversions, so you can get the cylinder off through the spars and the perimeter frames. This, after, like, as you can see, my back engine mount is still down here. After it comes up there, it allowed this motor mount to suck into that pretty well. But that, so it'll be a little bit lower than what it is. I still have all that room for activities. Obviously, we still have a head that goes on there, motor mount, which we have lots of areas to motor mount it to, room for spark plug. Guys, I'm telling you, this not only could work, but this bike could be freaking awesome. Man, tell you what, guys, it's nice to look at something like this, but then when you move to something like that, yeah, I gotta make this one and that one look on the same level, or even better, make that one look better than this one. That's progression. Guys, I can't honestly believe I almost have more Yamahas now. Actually, I think I do. I think I have more Yamahas now than I do Kawasaki's. I might need to count. But now we got the 450/500. So do you call that a Kawasaki? Or is a Kawamaha? Or a Yamasaki? Hey! Yamasaki! And then, yeah. Worst bike on Craigslist. I can't keep calling that, because it's not really the worst anymore. It's definitely better. So I just been calling it the YZ325. You guys commonly know it as the worst bike on Craigslist. Then, so our budget 125, just so you could see what I've been doing. So that got the oversized tank that was on that bike, and I could swap them over as needed. But yeah, I just kind of been playing around, doing my own graphics, trying to keep the whole budget thing on a, well, on a real level on this thing. It's such a good bike. My 15KX250F is the most solid bike I probably have ever owned in my life. As far as long term, I put more hours on this thing, and it still just fires up first kick, and it runs so good. I really, really like that bike. My son's bike, which is now turned into a table of Bang carburetor cleaner and a sweater. Sounds like a busy night at the hotel. That bike's about due for a top end. Luckily, Wrench Rabbit sent us a brand new rebuild kit for it, so we'll do that really soon. So just an update on that. But this bike has been solid. There's got to be, I don't know, 2 million hours on this thing. It gets ridden a lot. My son's 65 back there. So believe it or not, guys, I only have one Suzuki. I used to have like 4. Now I'm down to 1. It's not really a thing like I'm proud of, but that's just kind of how the cookie's been crumbling around here. So a lot of you know, some of you don't. Back here hidden under all this, which I have no explanation for, is that bike I've shown you guys in the past. That number 2 bike right there, that's Jeff Ward. That's a plate that came off of, not this bike, but this was one of his practice bikes that someday we'll do a full restoration on this. And check this out. This was given to me by a buddy. I am not typically a vintage collector, but I couldn't say no to these. Look at that. Team USA Suzuki pants. And I think they're like brand new. I don't think they're ever worn, but they go along. Oops, I'm just trying to hit everything in the shop. They go kind of nicely with these. Some of you older timers from the 90s, 80s remember these Fox pants, right? Right? Oh, the zebra Fox pant. It's like a turquoise color. It's weird, but then there's like green in there. Image. I think they're pretty rad. I really don't collect a lot of vintage stuff, but I love old riding gear. I think someday when and if I ever have a motorcycle museum, I'll have dummies all done up in old motocross gear and stuff like that. That'd be kind of rad. So, not pictured in this video, I do have my 86 Kx500 in the back. I got my 80, I think it's an 88, 87 or 88 Kx125 back there. I got my son's broken RM85, so I do have two Suzukis. And yeah, so I got the rolling chassis now from that 500 that I don't know what I'll do with now. But I know the frame's up there. And look at all my exhaust, guys. They just... Coming back to this. So I've been kind of plotting out, looking, taking measurements. So if we dig this, guys, if we like this setup, this is totally and utterly not only plausible, but this would work really good together. So first and foremost, our engine is too wide back here to fit inside the swing arm. Not a big deal. You just turn down in a lathe real nicely this little contact patch where the bearing connects. The axle size, I guess you call it an axle, a pivot bolt, whatever, same size as the YZ450. Imagine that. Lower engine mount, pretty close together, even though I do need to very carefully remove this weld, remove all these welds, and we will have this whole mount ready to relocate when we find a good location for the motor. Last but not least, this location right here. So this is the 450 motor mounts, and look at where the KX is. Now, yeah, it's not completely true to its location, but the height will be a nice triangulated height. So the engine will be back, I don't know, what do you say, half inch? Yeah, half inch, maybe a full inch. The whole engine will scoot back. That'll give us room on our exhaust bridge. Obviously, we have to cut out this Y piece in the frame, this Y section, move it up, elongate the tubing. It's a little bit more complicated than that. I'm just kind of shortening it up. And then when we have our head, you know, the cylinder head will be up on top of this. It's not far from that mount. We have a nice double mount here, which will triangulate a top mount. This motor will really fit in here really good. The only thing that I'm a little bit sketched out about, but I think I have a solution, is our air boot. So Yamaha does this little cutout originally, where their air box comes through here, their air boot, excuse me, and goes to the carburetor, which right now is not far off. So I might need to go back and relieve a little bit more. We'll see. I don't want to be future tripping too much because I still haven't 100% decided, because I'm kind of looking to see your guys' feedback too. See what you think about this, making this a 500. So the other thing is, I don't know if I want to put this to a vote yet. I kind of want to see where exactly this is going to go. If we want to do motard, completely possible. Kx500 motard might be kind of cool, an aluminum Yamaha frame, all the, you know, suspension, or just a straight up motocross weapon, something just to go crush tracks, win the open class, just have fun, you know, go berserk on, just to look sick on camera, do huge jumps, all that stuff. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about this, because we have the 325 that will do all the off-road and enduro stuff. So kind of want a little diversity of bikes. I think it would be kind of cool to get this thing all street legal and make a motard out of it. But, you know, I'm really, truly thinking that just as a motocross weapon, it will be a lot of fun. So, guys, I got some planning to do. I got some thinking to do. Yeah. So, guys, I think that's gonna wrap up this first video. We got a donor bike, and we got what I would say is a very not only eligible donor, but potentially it'll be probably better than most converted, AF converted, aluminum frame converted 500s. There's a lot of great conversions out there. I mean a lot. And they are really, really great, beautiful looking bikes. Not putting any of them down, just saying that this one, from its geometry, location, size, I think would just really work great. And it'd be pretty lightweight too. Honestly, this thing would be real lightweight. So, anyways, guys, I got some thinking to do, some planning to do. A lot of you guys hit me up, like I said, to try Husqvarna, try KTM, Alta, to really mix it up. But I'm not rich, guys. I can't go out and buy, you know, a $5,000, $6,000 bike just to pull the motor out of it. And some of you are trying to convince me, you know, you could sell the engine for $2,500 to $3,000 and you're in it only for like $2,500. And that might be true in a good world, but even still at that point, I don't have $5,000, $6,000 to go throw at a project, even with a possible payback of selling the engine on eBay or something like that. So I'm still going to keep my feelers out. This one only put me back $1,000, and yeah, the engine's completely toast. And he did give me the option to just buy the rolling chassis for $600, which in hindsight, being 2020, I should have done that. But best case scenario, the engine didn't need a lot of work, and I could have probably fixed the engine up pretty easily and flipped that on eBay to spend on some parts for that thing. But saying that that whole entire top end is done, and possibly crank, and you know, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it, okay? It makes me sad. Anyways, guys, gonna leave it there. Love you guys so much. This has been so much fun being off on this whole coronavirus thing. I hate to even say that, because I know, like, truly people are out there and they're suffering. They're having a hard time surviving, living, making, you know, bills, paying bills and stuff like that. And my heart goes out to if you're one of those, my heart goes out to you. There's no words, guys. Our world, our nation, you know, stay with the world. The world is in a weird place right now. And I feel like the best thing we can do is just keep positivity flowing. Keep making fun videos on YouTube. Keep watching fun videos. Put out positivity on the internet, guys. Give this video a like. Even if you're not 100% with it, you know, guys, even if YouTube wasn't available or wasn't even a thing, I'd still be building dirt bikes like this all the time just because I love it so much. And I appreciate that you guys get a kick out of it too. I really do. So, having said that, boys, I'm going to probably put away everything for the night. Do a little bit of plotting, take some measurements. I'm going to start doing some grinding in the next video. We'll get all those mounts and get the frame kind of mocked up to take the engine, if that's where I want to go with. I'm going to talk to a few other gurus in the industry and see if anyone else has done it. Try to find if anyone else has done this conversion so I can get a heads up. So anyways, guys, from the Shop Garage, whatever, it's Clint Lund with London X. I will talk to you guys soon, that's a promise. Peace out. Oh. I don't want to take it out. I just want to leave it in there. I mean, would you just look at it?